But for whatever reason, hello, thank you. It's going to be different again next week. So, also, I don't know if I'll be streaming next Monday. I don't know. Yeah, I figured you hadn't. You didn't say anything. I was like, I guess you didn't see it. But I don't know if I'm gonna be streaming next Monday. I don't know what hours I'm gonna be hanging out with Libby. Or I don't know what time during the day we're gonna be hanging out. I just know we're gonna be hanging out. It's like it's a bad anniversary for them. Like it's the anniversary of like a bad thing that happened in their life, and they were like, can you like hang out with me that day? So I like don't think about it. I was like, yeah. So I don't know what hours we're gonna be hanging out. So I don't know if we'll be streaming or not. But I'll obviously let y'all know about that. But we've only got a couple more weeks before we're out of before we are out of the end of the year, and then we will be back to 3 streams a week, or at least 2 a week, because I'll have Wednesdays back. I'm doing a kin. Well, this is just bleach. This is just one round of bleach. This is what happens after one round of bleach. And a little bit of a cut as well. I had them move the line finally. And then Libriana bleached it for me. It's gonna be red next week in theory. Like, no, I'm not sure what kind of red, but it's gonna be a red next week. So we bought red dye. We just didn't have time to dye it because we had to go to work. So yeah, it was a very long weekend. It hasn't felt like a weekend though. Yeah, probably like a darker red, like a more natural looking red. It's not gonna look like. Honestly, the color that Christian's screen name is might be kind of close. Maybe a little bit lighter than that. But I don't actually know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like after it's done. But more on the red side is the goal. We'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot's been going on these past few days. Because there was not a lot of sleep, so there was a lot of awake time, meaning there was a lot of time for things to happen. Don't make a gross sound. It made a gross sound. Okay. Oh yeah. Way too little sleep. Okay. Oh, my sweatshirt, peak. It's an Amazon sweatshirt. So, for peak season, it says peak 2023. You can't read the 2023 because it's too little, but that's what it says. we get merch whenever they overwork us. They give us merch. So we get merch for Prime Day, and we get merch for peak season. I have a peak shirt from last year. I got a peak shirt for this year. And they gave us sweatshirts this year too, so very exciting. Good to see you too, Christian. Yeah, I don't know if I'll still be live when you come back or not. I don't know, because I haven't slept since yesterday. But yeah, I've been awake since 10 p.m. yesterday, so I don't know how long I will be streaming for, but we'll find out. But I'm gonna give y'all a walkthrough of what I've done this week, because there's been a lot of stuff happening. But this week and last week. Well, yeah, but that's no, not how I've been doing it. That's not how it's supposed to go. Not the way I've been doing it. It's not how, I don't think our bodies are meant to do it that way. But last week, so my friend I've mentioned before, my new friend that I've made here in Omaha, Her name is Libriana. Libby, Libriana, Lib. And she's the main reason that I've not been streaming 2 days a week, because for whatever reason we are incapable of spending less than 10 hours at a time together. So I end up staying up too late, and then I'm not able to stream because I'm up till like 11 o'clock, and we stream at 1 usually. And that's usually after being up all night. So I have to prioritize sleep in order to function at least a little bit. But last week, what was it? Monday night? Monday night? Yeah, it was Monday night. So Sunday night, aka Monday morning, so like Monday in the AM, I picked up a shift last week. Monday AM. Because they've been sending out what are called avalanche shifts. I'm not sure why they're called that. But essentially it's like 3 to 3.5 hour shifts where you get paid an extra $10 an hour to work them. They're really weird times of the day. Usually they start at like 1:30 in the morning, 1:30 a.m. And they're never any longer than 3.5 hours. So I've been picking those up here and there. Yeah, they do want to bury us, Jimmy. Welcome, NMG. Hope the business call is not horrifying. However, if you're here, that means it's boring. So RIP. But I picked up that shift, and so did she. I'm trying to remember last week versus this week. And then I came home and I went to sleep. No, it was Tuesday. I'm wrong. It was Tuesday. I did though pick up the avalanche shift last Monday. But then we were gonna hang out on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, which I mentioned on stream that she was supposed to come over. I was cooking tacos, and I didn't hear from her until 2 a.m. I was expecting her to hear from her around 10 or 11 p.m. So we were starting behind schedule. So I heard from her at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, which it was actually really funny the time that she messaged me at. Music feels too loud. I don't know why, but it feels too loud for me. There we go. And so she messaged me. So I bought that Google Pixel tablet, which I think I've shown you all before. And I have the little like dock right next to my stove, so that I can put it there and like play music and stuff while I cook and whatnot. And I had it on playing music and whatnot. I get text messages onto it the same way I do onto my phone. They're like linked to one another, so anytime I get a message on my phone or a notification on my phone, I get it on the tablet as well. And I'd pre-cooked a bunch of stuff. That's true. Our memories, neither of them are good. I'll just do it now. Tablet. I love my tablet. Tablets. And I discovered today that I can actually just stick it to my dryer door. So I can like watch stuff on it while I like do laundry. So I can just like, because the back is magnetized, that's how it connects to the dock, is a magnet here, and the magnet's strong enough to hold the tablet up against the thing, like really securely actually. Like I have to put some force into it to take it off it. So that's cool. But it's like super light, which is, so it doesn't really surprise me that the magnet's probably what most of the weight is, if I'm being honest. But it's just a big phone basically, or at least that's how I use it. It's just a big phone. It's got a bug in the YouTube app where when I've got a video full screened, it won't put the play pause stuff away. So like like I full screen it, right? And that should go away, right? It doesn't ever go away. And I can't make it go away unless I lock the screen. And I shouldn't have to do that. So, I don't know what that's about. So I hope they get that fixed. And it's only on the tablet and only on that thing. Like if I try to watch stuff on my site on my tablet, it works fine. So it's the YouTube tablet app. I don't know. Also, how is it at 34%? When did that happen? Yes, it is a Google Pixel tablet. Why would I buy a tablet that is anything else? iPads are too expensive, and Amazon tablets are ass. So, yeah, honestly, no excuses. It's a Google app on a Google tablet being used by a Google bitch. Like, the only thing I don't do for Google is work for them. That's it. That's the only thing. Also, I don't know how I triggered the Google Home thing on my, like, when you, like, say her name, like, she'll hear you. Because I do have it on the tablet, though I should probably turn it off because it's been causing me problems. Because my Google Home and my tablet, like, when I say the trigger word, it triggers both of them. So sometimes I'll get ignored by the home because the tablet hears it and responds, but doesn't speak as loudly as the home. It's weird. But I was using it today to look at flights because I'm going to fly out to see family for Christmas. So I got I really like using it for, like Google Chrome because it's much easier to look at than my phone. And I can have tabs open and like the tabbing at the top of the screen looks more like a computer than it does a phone, so that's nice. What the fuck was that noise? There's no one doing construction right now. What am I hearing? I don't know what that sound was. Well, that's what I've been doing today, but so I was texting so many people earlier today. It was upsetting. I want to take me back to my home screen. What did I do? I broke it. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. We got it. We're good. But I'm a bit everywhere at the moment. Yeah, I got my Google Home for free from Ken all those years ago. He had an extra one because he uses Alexa's, and he sent me the Google Home because, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I use it for timers. I use it for music occasionally, but I mostly use it to turn my lights on and off, my smart lights. In my TV. Yeah. Okay, so where were we? So it was Wednesday, and by the time it hit 1 o'clock, I kind of gave up on her appearing. I just assumed she was asleep, because she tends to sleep later into the day than I do. Because she stays up longer, so she sleeps later into the day. And I just assumed she'd just not woken up to her alarms and was just oversleeping. So I just kind of gave up on like the idea that she would be over, which was disappointing because we had plans, specific plans. We were going to watch all the Hunger Games movies, all 4 of them, in one big long binge. Because we saw the new one in theaters recently. So we wanted to rewatch the old ones. So I just went about my business, cooking my dinner and like meal prepping. I started by meal prepping because I was going to cook enough food for the whole work week for all 4 days that I had to work. So I was meal prepping and I'd finished meal prepping and I was about to cook my portion for that night. And like literally I'd sprayed the pan with the like non-stick spray, and then I saw the text pop up on my tablet as I was about to dump the meat into the hot pan. Hey, I'm up. Sorry, I had a horrible migraine. I couldn't even look at my phone to text you. I'm so sorry. If you still want, we can hang out. And I said, you lucky bitch. I was like, I said, you've never had so much luck in your goddamn life. Like, so I sealed the baggie with the meat back up, and I put it in the fridge. I turned the stove off. I rinsed the pan out a little bit just so that the nonstick spray didn't like dry and get all gross. I said, I'll be there in 15 minutes because she lives not very far away from me. She needed me to come pick her up, so she was like, I don't think I should be driving in the state that I'm in, but I should be okay later. But if you want me now, you'll have to come get me. So I was like, okay, I'll be there soon. And I went and got her, and I brought her here, and then I cooked for us, and then we watched all 4 Hunger Games movies because I don't have a spine apparently. So which for those who don't know, that is 9.5 hours of content, and we didn't start watching until around 2:30 a.m. It wasn't good decision making on my part. So we watched the first 2 movies, and I was like, we should probably stop here. Like, I need to sleep, and I still have to take you home. Because I have work on Wednesday nights. I have a 10-hour shift on Wednesday nights. So that's my MET day. And they start at 6 p.m. Yeah, see, I read the books when I was a kid and really, really enjoyed them. They were very much targeted towards me. Very much my type of shit. I want to reread them now that I'm an adult, so I'm probably going to try to find a way to access the audiobook versions of them, because Tatiana Maslany, the main actress from Orphan Black, does she does the audiobook for them, or at least one of the audiobooks for them is her. So what's not to love? I can always use more Tatiana in my life. Not to mention Hunger Games is great. And I've heard a whole bunch of people around my age say that it's a very different experience reading them as adults versus reading them when we were kids. Because when we were kids, like when they first came out, we were younger than the protagonist. But now we are significantly older than the protagonists. And it's a very different experience reading them, because now you can look at these kids, because they've always been kids, but when I first read them, they were older than me, so they were older kids, but so my brain didn't really classify them as children, especially because like in the movies, like she doesn't look like a child in the movies, like they don't look like babies, you know, like some of the younger ones, like Rue looks like a child because the actress playing her was like 6 or some shit, not actually 6, but like very, very young. But Jennifer Lawrence doesn't look 16 in that first movie, because she was 21 in that first movie. So, is this like the audiobook? What is this thing?
This is the copy.
Oh my god, the whole book, huh? The whole box set. Holy shit, huh? This is for the whole box set? Dude, you're insane. How did you find this so fast, huh? Is this a Tatiana one?
Work.
Oops. Before moving off.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god. Jimmy. I've never seen a timestamp this. I didn't think you could upload videos this long. How the fuck is it this long? What is this? 1 day, 8 hours, 58? Is that what this is? Is that what that means? Holy shit. I didn't think you could upload videos that long. Well, fuck. Add to watch at work. I need to open it on the right playlist, or the right, Did you like how fast I could tell it was Tatiana's voice?
This is the...
Did you like how quick that was? Why is there another full audiobook, Suzanne Collins Hunger Games one that's 11 hours long? Which book is that? The first book? Also, the fact that this person uploaded an over day-long video and didn't put any timestamps in the description. It reads as 32:58. It doesn't read as that for me. it reads as 1:08:0 or 58:14. I don't know why it reads like that. That's wild, huh? Huh. Let me send this to Max, huh? In case Max ever wants to re-listen to them again, because Max has before, recently, not like super recently, but like while we were in Nashville, listened to the audiobooks. Could be. But yeah, we finished the second movie at like, let's see, what time would it have been? We started around like 2:30 or something, and we took like a 30-minute to an hour break in between the first and second movie, to just sort of like, not necessarily unwind, but just to sort of break it up a little, so we weren't just straight binging the movies, because I didn't think we were gonna watch all four, since we'd started 4 hours later than I'd anticipated. So I was like, oh, we should take a break in between movies and let's watch this YouTube video, right? So it was probably like, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, something like that. 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that. Around the time I usually go to bed. But, you know. Yeah. Close the tablet. Close the tab, Nico. Close the tab. But she was like, but I want to watch the rest of them. I'm in the mood for them. I'm like, yeah, so am I, but I am tired because I'd already been awake all day. Because I'd streamed that day, so I was up early enough to stream, and I'd streamed with y'all, and I was like, yeah, I want to watch them too, but I'm literally like, I've got tired eyes like I do right now, because I'd already been awake for like 15 hours at that point, and I had a 10-hour shift 12 hours later, so I was gonna have to be at work in like less than 12 hours, but I don't have a spine, and I did want to watch them all in one sitting, so I gave in, and I was like, fine. And so I watched all 4 Hunger Games movies, which was great. I did enjoy myself. It was a fun time. And I took her home after that, and dropped her off, and then came back home, and it was like, let's see, I only slept for like 2 hours. I think it was like 4 hours before I had to be at work was when I got home. So like 2 p.m. 2 p.m. By the time I got home, it was like, I think around 2 p.m. And I was like, well, so I was like, I'm just going to treat it like a nap. So I was like, I'm just going to treat it like a nap. So I slept 2 hours because I didn't want to try to sleep 3 and risk sleeping through my alarms, because I've done that before. I know that 2 hours is like my hard limit for naps. If I try to sleep 3 hours, if I try to sleep 4 hours, it's not going to work. I'm not going to wake up to the alarms, no matter how many I set, no matter how loud they are. I've slept through that too many times and fucked myself over too many times to continue to try that shit. So I slept 2 hours, and I got up, and I was awake for an hour or two. That wouldn't work either. I promise you, it wouldn't work. And I went to work, and then I left work super early. I left work 4 hours early. So I went into work at 6, and I left work at 1:30. I came home, and I was at home and I was watching YouTube, and I was scrolling on my phone at the same time, and my phone stopped loading. Like, the internet stopped loading, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I thought maybe it was just my phone, because my router showed all the lights were on, like nothing looked wrong on that end. So I was watching TV, so I just went back to watching the TV. I said, fuck it. I restarted my phone, kept watching the TV. And then my TV started buffering. I said, motherfucker. But my router looked fine, so I got down, I unplugged it, and I plugged it back in. And while I waited for it to boot back up, I turned on my data and went on the app for my internet provider. And it said, oh, your area is down for maintenance until 6 a.m. It was like 2 o'clock. It was like 2 a.m. at that point. I was like, I left work early and I can't even fucking do anything. So I sat there and I scrolled through Twitter for a minute, for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes maybe. And I was falling asleep. I was drifting like this, falling asleep. Because I was like, it's too early to go to bed, because I don't have to be up until like 4 p.m. tomorrow. But I was drifting. I was falling asleep, sitting there scrolling through Twitter. Yeah, it really is. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll just go to bed. Fuck it. So I went to bed and I slept all night, and then I had a fairly normal work week. Nothing super interesting happened at work. I don't think. Let me think through this last week. Did anything? Well, I decanted all week. That was interesting, because I don't usually get to decant when I'm at work. I don't usually get to just do the job I was initially hired for. I'm always either in the pit or in the trailer or problem solving or doing something else. Like, I never get to just stand on the line and decant unless I'm there on my MET day, because if I'm there on my MET day, I usually say no when they ask me to do anything else. But I got to decant for basically the whole week. Nothing wild happened. I think it was Sunday. No, sorry, Saturday. The Saturday shift. One of them I had a whole bunch of problem solved that I started the day with, because we had several pallets worth of stuff that came off a trailer bad. But I finished that in the first 3 hours of being there, so it didn't really cause any problems. Fairly. I mean, it was busy, but not really busy for me, necessarily. Not any more than normal. So did my normal 36 hours. I stayed the whole week because I left. So because when I leave super early on my MET days, in my head I'm like, well, I left super early that day, so I can't leave early any of these other days. So that keeps me at work the whole 36 hours. And then I picked up a shift Sunday night. No, sorry. I did pick up the shift Sunday night. Yeah, I think you've said that before, that Monday and Tuesday are the bad days. And then as the week goes on, it gets better as the week goes on. So Sunday, well, during that week, I've been wanting to cut my hair for a while. I've been wanting to get it cut for a minute to get the cut fixed. I'm really not pleased with how they fixed it, but it's better than it was before, so I'll take it. So all week I'd been like talking myself off the ledge of booking a hair appointment to like get it cut and dyed. But I lost that battle on Saturday during the Saturday shift. And I was talking to Libriana, because her hair is bleached, like white, like good bleached, not like this. It's like properly like blonde all the way down, bleached, but the roots are grown in a little bit. And she's like, I've been meaning to go get them touched up and fixed for a while now. I just haven't had the money, because it's expensive. Getting your hair done is expensive. So I was like, will you go with me to get your hair done if I pay for it? And she was like, yeah, when? I was like, today, I was thinking today, because she goes and gets hers done at the Walmart, and she's like, and she was saying she usually just does walk-ins. Like, she'll just walk in and they'll do it on the spot with no, like, pre-scheduled appointment usually. So I was like, bet, let's go. And so we finished our shift, and then she went by McDonald's, and we met back at my apartment. I dropped my work friend Lori off at her house. I usually drive her home when I can. When she needs it, I usually drive her home. If I'm there and she needs a ride, I drive her home. So I dropped Lori off. Libriana went to pick up breakfast, and then we met at Libriana's place. And we ate breakfast, and played with her dog a little bit. And she took a shower, and I attempted to take a nap, but it didn't work out. I just laid there with my eyes closed. And then we came back to mine, and I took a shower, because we needed to wash the Amazon off of us, because crusty. And then we watched The Invisible Man, because I'd been wanting to watch it. The hair place didn't open till 10, and we got off work at 6:30, so we had time to burn. Hello? There are people outside my window. Sorry. We watched The Invisible Man. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as tense as I remembered it being, but I did enjoy it. She enjoyed it. She hadn't seen it before. And then we went to the Walmart to get our hair done. But on the way to the Walmart, we got pulled over. So I have to drive through like this little golf course park area to get to the Walmart from where I am. It's just the fastest route. And there was a cop sitting in one like a little driveway there, and he pulled out behind us while we were driving through there, and we were like, oh fuck. And I was following all the limits and everything, because I always follow the limit when I'm in that little area. That's like the only spot that I don't speed, because people love to run on the side of the road there, and it's really wooded, so it's hard to see them, especially because a lot of them don't wear reflective stuff while they're running. So I always drive the speed limit in that area, because I ain't trying to get anybody to run over. I'm not trying to do that. But he followed us all the way out of the park, and then we still had several turns left to make, and he followed us through the whole thing, and we were like, oh fuck. And I could tell, because I was checking my rear view just to see like if he was gonna leave us alone or not, but I saw that it was actually two cops. There were two in the vehicle, and the one who wasn't driving had his binoculars out looking at my license plate. I said, fuck, we're definitely gonna get pulled over because my tags are expired. So they expired like months ago, and I just haven't had the mental energy to go get that taken care of. And I keep forgetting. Every time I remember that it's an issue, it's like 2 in the morning, and I can't go get it taken care of then. And he did. He pulled us over. They turned their lights on and pulled us over like 20 feet from the Walmart, like from the turn into the Walmart. We were so close too. So I parked. He came out, and it was the weirdest cop interaction I think I've ever had. And Libriana was like, yeah, that was the weirdest one I've ever had. And she's had a lot more like interactions with the police over her time than I have. And she's like, I've interacted with basically every kind of cop you can interact with, and that was the weirdest interaction I've ever had. Like the chillest interaction, because if you've ever been pulled over before, the first thing a cop says when they pull you over is, do you know why I pulled you over? That's the first thing out of their mouth when they roll the window down. When you roll the window down and they get to your car, they say, do you know why I pulled you over? License and registration. That's not how he started the conversation. He said, my name is, whatever the fuck his name is, and I'm with the police department out of the school that's here. There's a university here. He was part of the university police. And because a good portion of downtown is part of the university area. So that was already a weird start. Even though if he had said, do you know why I pulled you over? I would have said, I assume something to do with my license plate. But so that was a weird start. And I gave him my license, and I dug out my expired registration and my insurance card. Let me check that, actually, because I've got an insurance card down here that I think is the newest one, but I thought I also had the newest one in my car, because they usually send you 2 insurance cards, like one to put in your vehicle and one to keep in your records, but I don't know where the one for my records is. Yeah, this is the current one, but this is also the same one I thought I had in the car. Let's set that out so I remember to go look at it. But so I ended up having to pull it up on my phone, the insurance, because I had all the old insurance cards and stuff in my car still because I just hadn't taken them out, so I couldn't find the right one to hand him. So I was like, I'll just pull it up on my phone. I have the app. I can pull it up in like 10 seconds. Like, just give me a second. And he was like, that's fine. I was like, yeah, here we go. The cop being there was actually the least stressful part of the interaction, because I was already like jittery and stuff because I was exhausted, because we'd been awake for, let's see, at that point it was like 11 something a.m., 11:30, almost 12, almost noon. So I'd been awake like almost 20 hours at that point. So I was exhausted. So and so he ran it and told me all the shit and nonsense and whatever. I was like, yeah, I'll get that taken care of. Don't worry about it. Because I still have Kentucky plates. I have a Tennessee driver's license. The registration on the car is still under my mom's name, but the insurance is under my name because I haven't gotten the new registration yet. So it was a whole hoopla of stuff. And he said, well, this is just a verbal warning. Like, it's not a big deal. And, you know, go about your day. And I said, thank you. And he left. And then we went to the Walmart. And we went into the Walmart. And the hair salon was closed. So I'll be getting my license and stuff taken care of this week, which is hopefully on Monday, but it just depends on when she schedules her hair stuff for. But I've never been pulled over by police. I was even going 10 above the speed limit yesterday, going the opposite direction, but I think most people drive faster in that area. Yeah, I think I think this was only the second time I've been pulled over, because I was pulled over once with Max in the car. And I don't think I've ever been pulled over by myself. So I think it's just the 2 times. I think it probably happens more often in the US than it does over there. But, because I am always going 10 miles over. So, yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, so we went into the Walmart and the hair salon was closed. So she started calling the other hair salons, the other Walmart hair salons, to see if they had any openings, and a couple of them were like, well, we might have one like several hours from now, that's, you know, and we can make you an appointment for next week, and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't working. It wasn't gonna happen. And we were standing there in the Walmart, and I was like, can we go back out to the car, please, and sit down, because I am gonna fall over if I stand here too much longer. And so we did. We went back out to the car while she made a few more calls. And while we were sitting in the car, there was this little girl walking around. So this is Sunday, by the way. It's still Sunday. This is Sunday midday. By this point, it's like afternoon. It's like 12, almost 12. There's this girl walking around, this little girl, maybe 13, wandering around the parking lot in her like Sunday dress, no jacket. It's cold as fuck outside. And she's like walking around the parking lot, clearly looking for something, or someone. And I watched her for a few minutes while Libriana was making calls, and she'd seen her too. And I was like, is this child, do we need to check on this child? Because she's still wandering the parking lot, and it's been like 15 minutes. and it's cold, and she's got a sleeveless dress on. It's very clearly like a church dress. And so we followed her for a minute in the car. Like, I started driving around, which I understand creepy, but it wasn't like on top of her. We just I was just driving around the parking lot while Libriana kept an eye on her. And eventually we just pulled up next to her, and I rolled Libriana's window down, and I was like, you talk to her, you're a woman, she'll trust you before she trusts me. As she should. It's the safest way to live. And Libriana was like, honey, do you need a phone to call your mom? Because she didn't have a phone in her hand. She didn't seem to have a phone on her. This 13-year-old didn't have a phone on her, which I thought was weird. But like, she looked fine. Like, she looked well fed. She was clean. Her dress was spotless. It was a white dress. It was fucking spotless. So she didn't look like she was like homeless or anything. She was very clean, well taken care of, and well kept. And Libriana said when Libriana was talking on the phone with one of her friends about it, was talking about how like the little girl was black. Libriana mentioned how like her hair was perfectly done, like it wasn't like knotted up or anything like that. Like, it was clean and like, you know. But she handed her phone and was like, here, you just call your mom. Like, she handed the girl her phone, and the girl dialed a number, and it rang and went straight to voicemail. And I think that spooked her a little bit, so she was like, oh, thank you, and she handed the phone back. Poor thing, her cheeks were all pink. Like I said, it was fucking cold outside. It has been routinely below freezing outside every single fucking day. The highest it's actually right now is the highest it's been all week, and it's 44 fucking degrees outside. So, you know, so she handed Livy the phone back and scurried off, and Libriana said, well, maybe your mom has an iPhone. And like, I'd rolled the window up and I was driving, not like away. We weren't gonna just leave her there. We were gonna just keep an eye on her until she got picked up by somebody. And Libriana was like, well, I think her mom might have an iPhone, and apparently when iPhones are on Do Not Disturb mode, it sends the first call straight to voicemail. It doesn't even let it ring on the phone itself. And so she called the phone back, and a woman picked up the phone, and Libriana was like, sorry, this is gonna sound weird as fuck, but there's a little girl out here wandering around, and we tried to get her to call somebody to come get her, and she called you, but you didn't pick up, and I just want to make sure she gets home safe, and you know, stuff along that line. And she was like, oh, it was really weird. It was really weird the way this woman was acting on the phone. It was really bizarre. And she was like, oh, we'll send someone out to get her. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And thank you for checking up on her, you know, all that, and then hung up. Which it was just really weird. It was really strange. Like, she didn't sound concerned. She didn't sound worried. It was really weird. And we were a little extra on edge just because Libriana said that specific Walmart has had multiple incidents of people being trafficked from that specific Walmart parking lot. So we weren't leaving that parking lot until we made sure that child was safe, quite frankly. Which, even if that parking lot wasn't known for that, that still was going to be the plan, because we didn't have anything better to be doing at that point. We already knew we weren't going to get our hair done that day, so you know, we just had time to kill at that point. So we kept an eye on her, and eventually, like 5-6 more minutes passed, and Libriana called the woman back. Maybe 10 minutes. It might have been 10 minutes. Called her back, and the woman was like, oh yeah, no, we sent somebody over to pick her up, and she's been picked up. And which we thought was just weird, but we'd lost track of her. We couldn't find the girl anymore, and we didn't see any like suspicious car activity, like no one like sped off or anything wild like that. You sure you didn't call the traffickers? No, I don't know, but it was the number the little girl typed into the phone, so it was the number she had memorized. So if we did, it's because that was who she was trying to call. Because like I said, Libriana handed the little girl her phone. And the little girl typed in the phone number on her phone. So at the very least, she's not in the cold anymore. But we couldn't find her anymore. We kind of drove around the parking lot a little bit longer, and eventually we had to leave. Like, she wasn't outside anymore, so we were like, either she got picked up or she went back inside. So either way, it's out of our hands at this point. But like the way the woman was on the phone both times we talked to her was just really bizarre. It was really weird. And neither of us felt relieved after the phone calls either. And neither of us felt like, oh, good. You know, plus we didn't see her get into a car or anything like that. So it's still a little sus, to be completely fair. But at that point, there's nothing we can do, and we're not going to call the fucking cops, because fuck those guys. Not to mention, I just got pulled over by one. But we took mental note of the time and everything in case we see her face on like an Amber Alert or something later, and we can be like, well, she was here at this time. Go check the Walmart cameras, because Walmart has a fuck ton of cameras on the outside of the building. And here's this phone number that we called. Yeah, we did. But that spooked Libriana a bit because of some like history she has in her life that I won't divulge, as that's her personal business. And just in general, she's a bit more anxious than I am, which again, not hard to do. But she called a friend to sort of talk her through it, and like called someone specific that she needed specific help from, and talked her through it, and we, you know, worked through it and everything. And while she was making that phone call, we drove to get food. She was gonna buy us food because I was gonna buy her hair stuff. So she was like, "I'll pay for food for the whole day since you're buying my hair stuff." And so we went to a Burger King nearby. And she made that phone call, and then we got out, we ate Burger King. And actually, while we had been pulled over by the police, I got a text from my Uncle Chris. Just a general like, hey, how are you doing? I've got some things I'd like to talk to you about, you know, let me know how you're doing, call me when you can, that kind of stuff. I didn't see it until later, but I looked at the time that I received the message, and it was while we were sitting there while the cop was running my information. So that's fun. Yeah, we went to the Burger King, we ate in the Burger King, just sort of chit-chatted and all that. Libriana is a believer in like God and Jesus and all that stuff. But she's not like aggressive about it or anything. She doesn't like bring it up or any of that. Like she's not a shove it down people's throats type of person. She's a you let me live how I live, I let you live how you live kind of person, which is the only kind of person I spend time with. So I spend ample time with her, so you know she's not a Jesus nut job, you know. But she called someone to like pray with her about the situation to sort of help calm her nerves, just something, because that's all we could do at that point. My philosophy is it's out of my hands, so it's not really on me at that point. But you know, and hers was she needed someone to be like, okay, you know, well then you have Max. Yeah, the opposite. Yeah, she's I wouldn't describe Libriana as like a born again, but she did find God later in her life, but not in like a ooh I'm born again like type way. Just in more of like I have more of a reason to believe in it now than I did as a kid. And Max is the other way around. Max is a born into it, bred into it, raised into it, and then found their way out of it. So yeah, very much. So ironically, they have a lot more, basically every other part of their lives are very similar. Not really, but like their traumas are very similar, but I feel like they would get along in a very weird way. They're in no way alike, I have to say. Personality wise, they're not alike at all. They're the same size, they're both the same height, probably around the same weight, same general build at least. So there's that. But apparently I don't make these decisions consciously anyways. Let's see, we went to Burger King, and I don't remember if it was while we were at the Burger King or if it was before that, but we decided that, how about you just dye my hair? How about I just have her dye my hair? Because she's dyed people's hair before, so it wasn't like it would be the first time. And, you know, but I was like, but I do need it cut first, so let's go find a great clips and at least get the haircut done, because I don't trust you to cut my hair. And she was like, good, I don't trust myself to cut your hair either. I said, cool. So, while we were in the Burger King, we found a great clips, and there was one across the street from the Burger King, which worked out. And I texted Chris, I was like, hey, we can just do a phone call after I get my haircut if you want. At some point, I called Max in there, before we got to the Burger King, I think. I don't remember. I called Max at some point for like 10 minutes while we drove from one place to another. Went in and got my hair cut, got berated about the fact that I was going to bleach my hair by the people doing my hair. Because every time I get my hair cut by a professional, they talk about how cool my hair is and how great my hair is and how people would kill for my hair because I've got like natural highlights and stuff like that in my hair. And which is great. I appreciate it. I like being special, but and then every time I go in to get a haircut and then mention that I want to dye my hair, they're like, "Oh no, you should never dye your hair. Your hair is so beautiful, you know, and so beautiful. It's so thick and gorgeous, and you know." And I told Libriana that before we went in. I was like, they're gonna give me shit about it. I'm just warning you before we go in, because it happens every single time. And that is not even like, even when I see the same hairdresser again, they say it again. So, oh, your hair is very beautiful. You know, it's very unique. You don't see this very often. And you know they don't tell that to everybody, because I don't hear other people saying that shit, like saying that they have that same experience. At least not those specific compliments. And it did happen. We were sitting there and she was cutting my hair, and she berated me because I told her I cut my own hair, and she did not like that. And she was like, can I please even up the back? She was like, I know you don't want any length off of it, but can I please just even up the back? Because it's bad. I was like, yeah, that's fine. As long as you don't charge me extra, go for it. Because I cut the length of it myself, which you all know, because it's too expensive. I'm not gonna pay $20 to go have someone cut my hair marginally better than I can do it myself. It's not worth it. Not worth the time or the money or the effort. No, I'll do it myself. But she was cutting it, and we mentioned that, oh yeah, we're gonna go bleach it after this, and she was like, oh my god, why would you do that, blah blah blah. And then the other hairdresser that was working there, was only 2 of them in there. It was a small little, it's a great clips, they don't get very big in the first place. She'd been in the bathroom, because we were the last customers of the day. They were about to close. They closed at 3. It was like, I don't know, like 2:30 by the time I got back for a cut. We got in there like just after 2, but they weren't cutting my hair until 2:25 or something like that p.m. So I was the last one of the day, and she came out and she was like, oh, is that your natural hair? And I was like, yeah. So she hadn't heard any of the conversations leading up to that. That was just the first thing she said when she walked up. That's your natural hair? I said, yeah. And then we mentioned bleaching it, and she's like, oh my god, why would you do that? And I looked at Libra and I said, I told you this would happen. I told you this would happen. But I got it cut, and they moved it up on my head a little bit, so now when I like swipe it to one side, all the hair actually comes over with it. So I don't really love the way that she did this part. Like, see how it hangs down? Like, it doesn't look bad, but I wanted it essentially as if it had been buzzed but then grew out, because I don't want it buzzed again. I don't want to buzz it again. I wanted it to be longer, but I didn't want it to be like neatly cut, which I understand is weird to ask for. Like, I want it to look messy on purpose. Like, I want it to look like it was shaved and then grew out. That's what I wanted it to do. Why do I want it colored? I don't know. Mental illness? I don't know why. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was. It's just been on my brain lately. And then I rewatched season 1 of Good Omens, and I was like, yeah, that's the hair. That's it. That's the hair I want. David Tennant's hair in Good Omens in season 1 specifically. I think it's different in season 2. I've seen photos of it where it's like red, where it's like this color red, and I don't want that. I do not want that at all. I'll pull it up. I still haven't watched season 2, by the way. I need to do that. This hair. Oh, it's behind me. Fucking shit. Okay. This one. This color. It's like a maroon color. Yeah, it's like a brownish red. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're shooting for. That is the goal color there. So essentially like the red that I already have in my hair, but everywhere. So that's the goal. But then after the Great Clips, on the way to, we're going to go from Great Clips to the Sally's. Yeah, it's a little browner in that specific photo. The photos I have on my phone are a little bit closer to, a little more on the red side. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But we were gonna go to Sally's, which is a hair supply store, to get the bleach and the dye and all that from like a reputable source, because that's like the only thing Sally sells is hair stuff. But on the way from the Great Clips to the Sally's, I called my Uncle Chris. I called him and I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, can we just phone call, what's going on? Just fair warning, there's another person in the car with me, but speak freely. Like, don't hold back, just speak the way you would as if it were just me, because she's not, like, she doesn't give a fuck. She's not gonna care. She's gonna half listen anyways, so. And I don't know if I mentioned this on stream, but my grandmother, kind of my step grandmother on my mom's side, passed away a little while ago, like a few weeks back. Not a huge deal. Wasn't really a big fan of her, to be honest. None of us really were that big of fans of her, but family that I actually knew growing up, not like distant family. Although I did find out that I've told you all about Faye, the one who sends me religious stuff on Facebook. She's dead now as well. She was like 90, apparently. I didn't realize she was that old. I knew she was old, but I didn't know she was that old. She's dead now. R.I.P. Hopefully she's with her Lord and Savior now. She's finally gonna leave me the fuck alone. And then also some guy named Gerald also died, who is, I believe, on that same general rung of family. Like, I think he's like a brother to one of my grandparents. I'm not certain where in the family tree he falls, but he's up there. He also died recently, which contextualized a text I got from my old archery coach, who I'm...
notification for Nico.
Oh, yeah, you do. What is it? Laundry. Wait, the laundry's dry. The dryer's still going. That's weird. I told her to remind me to restart the dryer, but the dryer hasn't stopped. That's weird. That's weird. I can still hear it going, but I set it for 60 minutes. Whatever. I'm gonna go restart the dryer. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, the dryer is very full of clothes right now. I was like, my hand was going up to the knob, like this is like the knob, right? And my hand was going up to the knob, and when my hand was like here, the dryer stopped. So So that was perfect. But yeah, I found out that Faye had died. On that phone call, I found out she was dead. Her and Gerald. But I'd gotten a text from my archery coach being like, hey, I'm thinking of you. I saw your parents at Gerald's visitation, that was called. I knew Pam. I was like, I don't know who Gerald or Pam are. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who you're talking about. And then in that phone call, Chris mentioned Gerald. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what she was talking about. I assume Pam was his wife. I don't know. Does it only do 60 minutes at a time? Yes, it only does 60 minutes at a time. So I found that information out. But the main reason he was calling me is his dad, my papa, is coming to the end of his life, we believe. Unless some miracle happens, he most likely won't make it to the end of the week, or out of next week. If he does, it'll be a miracle. My Nana, the one who died a few weeks ago, is his wife. My mom and my Uncle Chris's dad is probably not gonna make it to Christmas, so that's great news to receive. He's had pneumonia for a while, and it's caused a bunch of other health problems, and he had cancer in the past, lung cancer, so his lungs are already not at 100%, and then he also got pneumonia. He's also in his late 70s, and his wife just died, and like thing after thing after thing after thing, and he's on like a 97% oxygen right now, which means he's 3% away from needing a full-on ventilator to breathe. So things are not looking great. Hopefully he makes it to Christmas. I'd like to see him again before he goes, but because it's been years, but it doesn't seem probable that that's going to happen. So received that news in that phone call, and then Chris and I chatted for a few more minutes, and then we hung up not long before we got to the Sally's. And so we stopped in, and we went in the Sally's, and we got our stuff. Most people usually make Christmas the day after. Not my family members. They're dropping like flies right now. But like initially it was just distant relatives, because Gerald like just died like last week or the week before, and then Nana died a few weeks before that. I don't know when Faye died, around the same time. My papa probably won't make it to Christmas, so like they're all just dropping like flies. So, which is one of the reasons why I'm going out to Georgia to see some of them, because they're all around that age. So, unfortunately, I think only one of the ones that is around that age is going to even be in Georgia at the time, because the other one's going to Nashville to see her kid. So, oh well, it was worth a shot. But I got that lovely news while we were driving from the Sally's, or from the Great Clips to the Sally's, and we went to the Sally's. We bought the hair stuff, which was really cheap. It was only like $40 for the dye and the bleach and the other thing that you're supposed to mix with the bleach. I can't remember what it's called. Bought all that stuff, and then what did we do after that? We swung by my place on the way back to hers, so I could pick up a different shirt to put on for when we were bleaching my hair, a less nice shirt, so that way the shirt I had on didn't get destroyed if we did get bleach on it. And I picked up some work stuff, because I was like, maybe I'll come with you to work, because her MET day is Sunday night, which means 6 p.m. At this point, it's around 3 p.m. By the time we get back to hers, it's around 3 p.m. And so she bleaches my hair, and by the time she's done with that, it was closer to 4, I think, by the time we got back to hers, actually, closer to 4 o'clock. And so she bleaches my hair. By the time we're done with that, it's 5:30. And so I was like, either we can die. I was like, it's up to you, because I don't have to be there until like 2 o'clock, or 1:30. I don't have to be there till 1:30, because I did pick up an avalanche shift for that night. I usually pick up the Sunday one for that, because it's late, and because Libriana's there, because it's her MET day. Her, and as well as a couple other people that I know and that I am buddies with. but she has to be there at 6 o'clock. So I was like, it's up to you if you want to diet right now or not. I don't mind going out looking like this. I don't care. It looked worse on Sunday because I hadn't washed it a second time. I'd only washed it the one time that you wash it to rinse the bleach out in the first place. And it was still wet at the time too. And I hadn't slept in it. So it didn't look great. Keep in mind, we've not slept yet. Keep in mind, we haven't slept since before our 12-hour shift on Saturday. So we are over 24 hours without sleep at this point. And we are about to go do another 10-hour shift. And she was like, I really don't want to use my hours, so we should go. And I was like, okay, let's go to work. And so we went to work. And oh boy, was going to work with her a fucking bad decision. It was such a bad decision. Because I haven't pulled an all-nighter like that in a very long time. I haven't pulled an all-nighter in general since college. And I certainly haven't pulled one like that ever. So we went to work, 6 o'clock. Carpooled on the way there. I was honestly doing fine until about halfway between first and second break. Which is so probably around like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then I hit a wall. I hit an energy wall. We were doing indirect rolls that day. I was already operating at like 30% by the time we got to work anyways, so hitting the wall, I'm not, because like usually I don't hit a wall like that at work until like the end of the work week and like towards the end of the last day, you know, like that's usually when I will hit my energy wall. Or if I'm like throwing mixed case on the line, which is essentially just picking boxes up off of the floor to chest level to then throw onto a conveyor belt. Instead of doing it in the trailer where you don't have to pick it up off the floor to chest level to get it onto the conveyor belt. You can pick it up, the conveyor belt moves up and down, so you don't have to pick it all the way up off the floor. You can pull a lot of it off the wall, so it's easier doing it in the trailer than it is doing it the way I was doing it, but I didn't have another option. And that makes me hit the wall a lot faster because it's a lot more physical and a lot more exhausting. So I was doing fine as one can do at that point with no sleep. And at that point, 15 hours of warehouse job work in that time period of no sleep. So I hit my energy wall and it was just downhill from there. Like very fast, very rapidly downhill from there. Like my cells were dying. All of them, they were all dying. So my brain cells, my muscle cells, my skin cells, my blood cells, all of them dying. Just the degradation was aggressive. I got a massive headache. I was just sore in general, but also sore specifically from doing physical labor because I was still throwing boxes onto the line, but at a much slower pace. And I didn't even start at a fast pace to begin with because I knew I was going to need to really, really pace myself because I was told I was going to have to do it the whole shift. And they are so motherfucking lucky that I did show up with her because it was me and one other guy there, technically two other guys there, who could get in the trailer. And one of those two other guys was injured, so technically he couldn't get in the trailer. And we needed two people. They would have been so fucked if I hadn't come in when I came in. They got so motherfucking lucky. They would have had to pull from outbound, and outbound wouldn't have let them because outbound is priority right now because we are towards the back end of peak season, which is when outbound becomes the priority. So they got so fucking lucky because I wasn't supposed to be there till 1:30, and I made sure to remind them of it every second I could. I'm not even supposed to be here. Yet. I will work at the pace I feel like. Outbound. So essentially it's the part of the building where we send stuff out. So I work in the inbound area. Decant is part of inbound. So it's decant and stow are inbound, the part of the building that receives packages. And then there's the outbound portion that sends out packages. It's just what we do, but in reverse. So they have a lot of the same, like, a lot of people who are trained on the same or similar stuff. So like if we don't have a pit driver, we can pull someone. If an outbound does have someone who's pit trained, we can pull someone from them to come drive for us. That type of stuff. And lately we've been labor sharing, so we've been sending a lot of our decanters over to do outbound stuff because they need people over there more than we need people here, even though I disagree. We need people in both places because we are still getting just as much product coming in. And so we've been sending people, shipping people around the building a lot lately, which is common for this time of year. It's always hectic this time of year. But yeah, so I hit that energy wall and it just downhill. And when I say I got a headache, it was a bad headache. Not quite a migraine, but it was a bad headache. Exactly. Well, we've been doing that. We've been overfilling our stores, like our storage areas, to the point that we've had to send out, like, so we store in the things called pods. They're just really tall storage containers. And we've had to ship out pods because they're full and we need to bring in empty ones. So, like we've been overpacking the warehouse to prepare for this so that we have stuff to pull. But we have to do what is called replenishment, which is just replenishing the stores that they are now pulling from. So the goal is to keep the building as full as possible, while they work on orders. So yeah, Nico is here, Nico is me, Nico is sleepy, but that is not abnormal. Yeah, so I hit my energy wall and it just got worse from there, and the headache got to the point where I couldn't hear. Like I couldn't hear. My vision had already been weird all night because I was sleepy, and you know how when you're tired your vision gets weird, right? But my vision was getting more weird because I was tired, because again we're well past the 24-hour mark at this point with no sleep. Yeah. And it'll be in the VOD, and you can watch it on 2x speed and get through it a lot faster, because I'm really struggling to make sure I hit all the points, because I'm not skipping anything. Like, everything is in here. Every single activity that we did is in this list. So I'm really trying my best to not miss anything and to tell it in order. But I eventually ended up in a trailer instead of throwing stuff onto the line outside of the trailer. So I ended up in a trailer towards the end of the night. And while I was in the trailer, my hearing went out. Not like fully, not like it wasn't like dead silent. It was like when you've got earbuds in and someone's trying to talk to you, like your earbuds are playing sound and someone's trying to talk to you, but so like you can kind of hear them, but you can't tell what they're saying. It was essentially that, but minus the music, of course. So I couldn't really understand what people were saying, and fortunately I was by myself for most of the time because I was just in the trailer. So it was a really weird experience being in the trailer where it is loud as fuck. But I was also in a trailer that wasn't moving a lot. Like, there wasn't a lot of people working the line, so I wasn't having to throw boxes very much, which was honestly worse. It would have been better to have needed to throw boxes more, because I would sit down in between, like, while the line was full, and I would be sitting there falling asleep in the cold trailer, sitting on a pile of boxes. So I kept getting up and, like, leaving the trailer to, like, do, like, a lap or two while they worked the work. Because I was only feeding a line with, like, maybe 5 people on it at the most. And for reference, there's usually, like, I don't know. There's how many stations? Like, there's usually, like, 22 stations. So we can hold up to 22 people on a line. And we've usually got like 15 to 20 people on a line, and I was running a line with 3 to 5 people on it. And it was a line where we were having to downstack, which just means that they're working slower, that they can't work as fast as they normally would. I'm not going to explain what all that means. That's not necessary. That's all you need to know is there's a very small amount of people, and they have to work at a pace slower than normal because of the way they have to process the product. So the line was not moving very much, is what I'm saying. So I was getting out to walk around, and people would try to talk to me while I was walking around, even though I looked like you shouldn't be talking to me. The mic volume is fine. Turn your volume up. Jimmy has not had any issues understanding what I'm saying. Just boost your volume. But yeah, because so my hair was this color at that point. So that was fun to reveal my hair to some people while we were there throughout the day. Connor, who is our PA on our shift, so he's a manager. He's not like a high level manager, but he's our manager that we report to, was there on his MET as well. And at one point during the day, he was looking for me. He was trying to find me so I could come TDR a trailer, and I was standing right there, but my back was to him, and he didn't know, he couldn't tell it was me. He didn't know it was me because my hair was this color, and I didn't have any, like, there was nothing I was wearing that would identify me in another way. Like, I just had my ambassador vest on. If I'd had my purple jacket on, that probably would have helped, but I was warm, so I just had my normal ambassador vest on. So he, like, radioed for me, even though I was standing, like, 10 feet away from him. And then Brianna just started laughing at him. So that was funny. But they would try to talk to me, and I would just be like, because I couldn't hear them. I couldn't hear them at that point of the night. But I wandered over to the desk, and I stood there next to Connor, and did my best to converse, but I couldn't really understand what he was saying because I couldn't hear him. And Libriana would walk up every once in a while because she was running the floor. They had her running the floor. They basically had her doing a PA position amount of work, which is what she's been gunning for. She's trying to get the promotion anyways, so she did it pretty willingly because she was like, I need something to keep me, like, moving, and that'll keep her moving more than anything, is running the floor, which is a PA position. Seriously, they would have been so fucked if we hadn't shown up, because they needed her to PA and they needed me to be in a trailer, and they wouldn't have had that if we hadn't been there. Oh. So I'm actually louder than normal. Look at that. Granted, there's no, like, game sound that I'm speaking over right now, so maybe that's helping. Like, it's the music, but the music's super low. Yeah. I'm sure it'll change, because we are going to play a little bit of Infamous Son, probably only like an hour of it. But I do want to start it today, since I'm not going to get to stream again until next week. Until next Tuesday, probably. Yeah, so my hearing did eventually come back, but I chugged along, because at that point, like, so my actual scheduled time to be there was end of shift. So I wasn't scheduled to be there until 1:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So at that point of the night, I couldn't leave, because if I did leave, I would be losing out on that extra $10 an hour of pay. So I was really doing my best to just sort of push through, but it was so fucking hard, dude. Like, I have never wanted to just not just leave work. I've never wanted to just keel over on the spot more than I did right there, because I was just miserable. Like, I was doing a dream job. Being in the trailer on a line that's basically not moving is like the ideal day, because I can just sit there and watch my phone. But I couldn't hear, I couldn't form thoughts, I could barely speak, and I just couldn't function. And all I could experience was misery. So I was like, we can make it. But the actual shift itself doesn't end until 5:30. Just for whatever reason, the Avalanche, like, my scheduled shift ended at 5, but everyone else's shift ended at 5:30, because that's the normal shift schedule. Like I said, the Avalanche shift times are just really weird. At the time, I was under the impression that I was supposed to be there until 5:30 anyways. Like, that's what I was scheduled for. I didn't know that my schedule ended at 5 until the next day. I thought it was 1:30 to 5:30. But I was incorrect on that thinking, and it works out I was. I did end up leaving early. I ended up clocking out at 5 o'clock, and Libriana and I had carpooled up to work because she lives a little bit closer than I do. So we just carpooled we were at her place anyways, so we carpooled there, and I was just going to have her take me home after because she was in a better state than I was because she'd taken some meds partway through the day that was helping her stay awake. Plus, caffeine works for her. It doesn't work for me, so she was able to drink some caffeine and gain some energy back that I wasn't able to do because energy just puts me to sleep. Very useful stuff, that caffeine. But I finally tapped out at 5 o'clock, and Libriana gave me her keys, and I went out to the car at 5 o'clock, and I turned the car on, and I laid down. I closed my eyes. And like 5 minutes later, maybe, I fell asleep. And I slept for like maybe 20 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes. Probably 15 minutes. But I got some sleep. I did fall asleep until she got out to the car at 5:30. And then we went and got McDonald's again. And then we went to see a friend of hers while we ate the McDonald's. And she smoked a little bit of the puff puff while we were at the friend's place while I ate my food. And then we went back to hers so she could let her dog out. And because I thought I was just going to sleep at her place because I didn't think I was going to be capable of driving home. And I surely fucking didn't while I was at work, incapable of hearing. My hearing had come back while I was sleeping. So I woke up and I was able to hear again. Like I was able to hear normal again. So that was nice. But I was a bit more awake than I'd expected to be at that point. I think the food woke me up a little bit. So I drove home. I was like, if I don't leave your apartment now, it's going to cause us problems later because I'm going to need to sleep for like 4 days after this. Because at that point, let's see, 4:35 o'clock on Saturday, 4:35 p.m. on Saturday to what was now like 7 or 8 o'clock a.m. on Monday. What's the math on that? Let's say 5 o'clock on Saturday, 5 p.m. on Saturday to 8 a.m. on Monday. What time? How long is that? Someone do the math for me. I can't do it. Hydration. I'd been needing to do that anyway, so thank you, Rookie. So, can I do the math on that? 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's 24 hours. So I just got to go from 5 to 8 on one day. So that's an additional 12 hours. So we're at 36 hours. Was it 5, 6, 7, 8? So we were at 39 hours. That's 39 hours, approximately 39 hours without sleep. 22 hours of which was spent at work. Never again. Never again. Never again. It wasn't worth the money. It really wasn't. I will feel like it is worth it next week when I get a fat fucking paycheck. Next week. It's gonna be a fat paycheck next week. But oh my god. So then I drove home. It was like a 30-minute drive home because there was a fuck ton of traffic because it was Monday morning. Normally it's like a 12-minute drive home. A drive from her place. It's like 12 minutes, but it was a 20-minute drive with a 6-minute slowdown. But at that point, I was awake enough to function to a degree, so that was nice. If you needed me to do math, that wasn't going to happen, but I could do basic things like drive and form basic thoughts. But I got home, and of course, I was gross because I'd been throwing boxes all day at work, so I needed to take a shower. But again, like I said, at that point, I was awake enough to kind of function again. I had my last hurrah finally kick in, So I got in the shower, I cleaned myself off, I washed this again because it did need to be washed again. Oh, I was driving fine. No, I can drive unconscious. I'm a very good driver, and I mean that. I'm not joking. Like, I'm actually a really good driver. I'm very good at it. I'm not good at following the rules of it, but I am very good at it. Like, I speed everywhere, but I'm very good at driving while I speed. Like, I'm very safe also while I speed. If I hadn't been safe to drive, I wouldn't have driven. Like, genuinely. Like, I have before been places where I'm like, I shouldn't be driving right now, and then I don't. Like, I've done it at work before. Like, there was a day I had a migraine so bad at work that I had a genuine migraine. Like, it was a proper full-on migraine at work that made it where I couldn't see properly. Like, there was like spots in my vision. And they had me driving pit, and I pulled myself off of it. I was like, I can't do this. This isn't safe for me. It's not safe for other people. I'm gonna break something and lose my pit license. I can't. Not to mention I was in immense pain and very unstable on my feet because I had a full-on fucking migraine in a warehouse that is constantly loud and very bright. And they pulled me off because I'm also the type to wait till it's so bad that I can't function anymore, which I'd already been pushing it for a while. I'd had the migraine for like at least a good 45 minutes before I finally pulled myself off. But that was because I felt fine driving. I felt fine driving until my vision got to the point that I couldn't drive anymore. Like, the only reason I pulled myself off was because of the vision. Like, the driving part wasn't the problem. It was the fact that I couldn't see. that was what was making it where I couldn't drive. Was that I couldn't really see what I was doing. The rest of it, not a problem. If my vision had been good, I would have just driven with the migraine. It wouldn't have been a problem. But no, the lack of being able to see, like, directly in front of me, like, it wasn't like I was blind or anything. I had spots right in the center of my vision on my left eye, which was really throwing. I didn't have any peripheral as well. Like, my left eye, I couldn't see, like, my peripheral, and there was a spot right in the center of my vision that was growing. So not safe to drive like that. And I did pull myself off of that. So like I said, I don't ever drink or anything, so it's never like I'm impaired to the point that I am not aware of the fact that I can't drive. It's only ever like, I'm too tired to be driving right now, or something is wrong with my brain because I'm having a migraine. It is called that, but we're almost done. We've only got a few weeks left, and then we'll be back to just a normal 3 days a week, and I won't pick up any shifts for all. Well, I might need to pick up some shifts in January because I'm planning on doing traveling, and I'm gonna need money for that, but not nearly to the degree that we're picking up shifts. Nothing like that. No, none of this 55 hours bullshit. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, this week I'm gonna hit like 58 hours. Especially if I stay all day tomorrow, I'm gonna hit 58 hours this week. And I don't plan on staying all day tomorrow, so no. I have no desire to keep doing this. I'm honestly hopeful that they cancel some MET days, even though I do need the money very desperately right now. Because I've got about $800 left on my credit card that I need to pay off this month, as well as rent that I need to finish saving up for. But we'll see. I should be able to make it at this point with the amount of hours I worked this past week. And last week. I worked a lot last week too. Because I had 2 avalanche shifts this week. Yeah, but I got home from the extended length of time, the 38 hours of awake time. Is that the number I concluded it was? And then, but I was still awake for another like hour or two, because at that point I was at the point where I was like, well, anything I need to get done, I'll just go on and do it. And I did. I think I called Max. Did I call Max? Maybe. I don't know. And I think I did call Max for a few minutes. Maybe. I'm not certain. I don't know. Regardless, by the time I got home, I showered and I think I ate something, and then I went to sleep. And then I slept, because I went to bed around 10 a.m., something like that. So I was awake from 5 p.m. to 10 a.m. 2 days later. And then I woke up at 10 p.m. Yesterday. It's been an interesting time. It really has. And I've been awake since 10 p.m. yesterday. But I had a shift last night, so I woke up at 10. I ordered food. I ate the food. And then, no. Yes, that's what happened. I woke up at 10. I DoorDashed some food. I ate the food. And then I took like an hour nap. And then I got up and went to work. And I had a 3.5 hour shift that I worked. I didn't work the full 3.5. I only worked like 2:45 of it or something, like just under 3 hours of it, because I got there because since I took the nap, I just went in late. And then I got home from work and I was like, I'm too awake to like go to sleep, because like I had just gotten up. I woke up at 10. Like I'd only been awake like 6 hours at that point. 7 hours at that point. It would have been 7 hours at that point. But I went to McDonald's with Libriana after work because she picked up the shift as well, and we just sat and chit-chatted for a little bit, as if we hadn't spent enough time together. She's apparently not sick of me yet, so, you know, I'll take what I can get. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. And we ate and chit-chatted and all that, and then I came home. I was too awake to go to bed, so I was like, I'll just stay up and stream, and then I'm going to take a nap after stream is over. Just a short little nap. I don't have work tonight. Don't worry. I don't have work tonight. I have work tomorrow night. I do not have work tonight. I have work on Wednesday night. But I'm going to take a nap. And then after my nap, I'm going to call my sister. I told her earlier that we could call after I'm streaming stuff. Because we haven't, like, called each other in a minute. We've texted here and there, but we haven't, like, spoken in a long time. And so we're going to call tonight, and then I'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Either I'll go back, I'm going to try not to go to sleep until closer to when I should go to sleep. Because I really need to fix my sleep schedule before the work week starts up. So I'm going to try to, even if I'm tired, I'm going to try to keep myself awake until around 4 a.m.-ish, because that's usually around the time I'm supposed to go to bed. Now, what am I going to do till then? Fuck if I know. I should try to watch Good Omens. I need to watch the new Doctor Who episode because I haven't watched it yet. I say it every week, but I just mean fix it for the work week. I can then fuck it up during the work week. That's fine. I just would like to go into the work week with a semi-decent sleep schedule. Yeah, you knew about my sister. She used to be in reaction with videos with me, and like in the very beginning, like in the early days of my reactions. She's younger than me, for the record. If that helps your memory at all. I haven't been reading your all's messages because I've been trying to finish off the story so I could just say we're done with it. We're done. We made it through the whole day. It's done now. I only have to feel slightly tired after having a bad night's sleep, and I know that if I was any more tired, I just wouldn't be able to drive. My eyes would be closed for too long. Yeah, I've definitely been there before where I was too sleepy to drive. And that there's one time where I have driven despite the fact that I probably shouldn't have been driving because of sleepiness, and it was when I went to the Billie Eilish concert with Zoe. It was that was like the closest I have been to falling asleep while driving. The little kid? What do you mean? No, that's Max. What are you talking about? No, I don't have any little siblings. She's 20 years old. My little sister is 20, and looks a lot like me, especially in the videos. We were asked regularly if we were twins. Like early reactions, like Supergirl reactions specifically, and I think she joined us for S.H.I.E.L.D. occasionally, but mostly Supergirl. Yeah. Yeah. The Billie Eilish concert, that was the closest I've ever been to falling asleep at the wheel. And I knew that was what was happening, but I was like, I've got 10 minutes until I'm at my destination. There's not a side of the road to pull off onto. It is just a ditch. I can't, if I pull into the ditch, there will be no getting out of the ditch. So I was like, I'm just gonna blast my music and just bounce up and down until I get there, because we are almost to Max's. We are almost there. So, did I ever stream? I don't think I ever streamed with Elizabeth. I don't think I did. Because I don't think I ever streamed at my parents' house. Well, I did, but never. I don't think Elizabeth was ever in the streams. It's definitely possible. That's so funny. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. Go ahead. My friend Cole, one of my fellow trans men friends from college, just texted me and said, he works at a school. He said, a kid just walked up to me and goes, "Mr. Cole, are you a boy?" And when I said yes, he said, how? And Cole texted me, he said, like, kid, if only you knew. That's funny. And then today, since I've been awake, like I said, I went to work, and then I got in from work, decided I wasn't going to sleep. And then while I was at work, I decided that I did want to go visit family for Christmas. So I've been in the process of trying to figure that out basically all morning. I texted my main contact in Georgia, like the main family member that has reached out to me before, saying that they wanted to see me and that I should come by and see them. And I realized that I haven't actually been down there to see them in 6 years. That is insane. And I didn't realize, like, I knew it had been a long time, but I didn't realize it had been that long. Like, some of the family down there, there's 4 kids that are 11 and younger. I believe that the spread is 11, 7, 6, and 3, I think is the age spread. So 3 of those 4 kids aren't even going to remember me. Even if I looked the same and sounded the same, they wouldn't know who I was because they were so young last time I was there. Like, that's insane. And the 11-year-old may not even remember me anyways because they were like 5. So, like, it's going to be an interesting experience. But from what I've seen, at the very least, my contact is supportive of me. They all know that I am Nico now. They are at least aware of the change, even if they've not had the practice at it. So I expect to be dead named a few times. I expect to be misgendered a few times, as is to be expected with people who have known me since birth, but haven't seen me or experienced me as Nico before. Because I'm not in regular contact with any of them. They're my mom's extended family. So like cousins and stuff like that on my mom's side of the family. So we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely interested to see how it goes. I'm very interested to travel and fly. I'm very interested to get on a plane again. I don't know what the plan is going to be after that because I was thinking I could fly out to Georgia and then fly from Georgia to Kentucky and then see my family in Kentucky. Because flights really aren't crazy expensive right now. At least not nearly as expensive as I was expecting them to be. Oh, well, the kids won't even question it, so it's not really going to be... Kids are the easy part. Kids are the easiest part of being trans. Because kids will take any explanation you give them. If a child asks me how I became a boy and I tell them a magical fairy came down and tapped me on the head with a wand 3 times, they'll believe me. Like, explaining it to children is the easiest part. And that's if they even ask, which is rare. Especially because I pass so well at this point, they won't even think twice about it. Because they've never encountered trans people before, I'm sure. So they won't even question it if anything about me seems a little off for them. Yeah, if I can get the kids to call me, like, I don't know if uncle or cousin Nico, like if I can get them to call me that, that should help the adults to hear it over and over again, because you know how kids like to say the same shit over and over again. So I can use them as a weapon if necessary, but I don't think it will be, because while they might be hickish, they are, to my knowledge, open-minded. Oh my god. So some developments to this since this morning about like family stuff. So like I texted my mom about coming to see them in Lexington, after going to, because my plan is to be in Georgia for Christmas Eve and most of Christmas Day, if not all of Christmas Day, like to fly in Christmas Eve morning, so Sunday morning. So like I'll leave work and then get on a plane and fly out there, because it's like a 2.5-hour flight. It's not a long flight. So I'll leave work and go over there. I might stop back by home. I will hopefully be able to stop back by the apartment to switch out of my work clothes, and then go to the airport. I haven't booked any flights yet. That will be the first one I book though, because I know that one's happening. I need to confirm with my contact in Georgia about what landing time is going to work for them, if they're going to come get me or not, or if I'm going to be paying for an Uber. I don't know yet, because the person is older and it's a long drive from where they actually live to the Atlanta airport. It's like a 50-minute drive or something, one way. But I was thinking I would go there for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then fly home, like to my parents' home on like the end of Christmas Day, and get there like late to Christmas Day, and then be there for a couple of days, and then fly home to Omaha on like Thursday morning, before work, and get in and sleep before work, and then go into work, because I shouldn't have MET at that point, so I should be fine. MET usually completely stops. I have not deleted any videos from my YouTube channel. They are all still there, unless copyright has taken them down. I've not bothered fighting any copyright things that have come up since I stopped posting, but most, like 99% of it, should all still be there. So they have taken down a couple of my videos and demonetized even more of them since then, but it's only been like I think 2 that have been fully blocked. But yeah, I texted my mom about like plans and stuff, like what their plans were, if they knew what their plans were, like what the get together plans were, because like growing up, what would happen would be my dad's side of the family, the Fitzpatrick side of the family, would do a gathering at my Aunt Sarah's house on Christmas Eve. Like everyone would be there, the grandparents, the cousins, the kids, everyone on that side of the family was there. Anyone who lived in the area was there. And even sometimes ones who were from out of town would be there for Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, we would just stay at mom and dad's, and it'd be me, my sister, and my parents, and then Brooks and Logan would trickle in at some point. My older brothers would trickle in at some point. And then like Chris would sometimes stop by. Sometimes Papa and Anna would stop by. So my mom's side of the family would come stop by. The bits, because most of my mom's side of the family lives in Georgia. So the little bits that do live in Kentucky would come in for that. So that was really about the extent. That's how our setup was, and I wasn't sure if it was still worked that way or what. And from what I can see, it basically does still work that way. But mom was like, I don't know what we're gonna do, because her dad might die here soon. So she was like, we may not really be very joyous this year. In which case I won't bother going up there. I won't bother spending the money to fly up there. I don't, because my presences are already going to make things awkward and uncomfortable, and I don't want things to be both sad and awkward and uncomfortable. So it's going to be hard enough to navigate it just being there in general. So I don't want to have to deal with being there while everyone's grieving at the same time. Unless it's like he happens to die like a few days before Christmas and I'm there for the funeral, then maybe I'll do that. But my hope is, which this is gonna sound selfish, but my hope is he either dies like this week, or he just doesn't die until after Christmas. Not just because that's the most convenient thing for me in terms of booking flights and stuff, but also because I would really like to see him again. Like that's why I'd like him to make it past Christmas. I'd really like to see him again before he goes. This Christmas or next Christmas, either one. He can die 2 days after Christmas if he wants to. Like, that is up to him. He can go for it. He has lived a very long life, but or he can last 6 more Christmases. It would not bother me either way. But if he makes it to the end of this week, he'll be doing good. So I think asking for Christmas this year is a big ask, because that's 20 days, and I don't know if he's got that much left in him. So, and I'm speaking about it as bluntly as possible, because this is a man that I actually like. You know, unlike my Nana, who I really don't care about and who I never bothered coming out to because I already knew exactly what her response would be, because she had a gay son and she treated him like garbage. And I've since learned that she wasn't exactly very nice to my mother either after my mom's mom died. So she's just not a very well-liked person in the family. I don't really care that she's dead, but I'm going to care when my papaw passes. And it sucks that if he goes before Christmas, I'm not going to be able to go to the funeral, because I simply can't afford that. I can't afford to do that flight and then do another flight again for Christmas. So another reason that I'd like him to hold on at least a few more months, so then that way it's in a different month where I can go out there for the funeral. Ideally, the funeral won't be at the back half of the week. Hopefully it'll be like a Sunday funeral or something, so I can fly in Sunday morning and be there for the funeral, because I won't be able to get time off work. That's not a thing. I can get bereavement, but I don't want to miss very much work because I can't afford to miss work. So if I need to use bereavement to get a day off so I can go out there, that's one thing, but I can't afford to take a whole week off. I simply can't. I won't be able to make rent if I take a whole week off, unless I kill myself and work 60 hours 2 other weeks. So, but I texted my mom and asked her, and that was basically her reply was, we don't really have nailed down plans yet, but that the Fitzpatricks are still going to do their gathering on the 24th, but they're not quite sure what they're going to be doing. Specifically, the family that I'd be there to see, meaning Chris, my parents, my sister, potentially my brothers, even though I don't really talk with my brothers that much anymore. It'd be nice to see my nephew, because I haven't seen him in a couple years. So he's old enough now where he can sort of interact now. So it'd be nice to see him. But if they're not going to do anything because they're in the process of grieving, then I'm not going to bother. I don't want to... my presence doesn't exactly bring people joy. So, I don't think my mom has yet. No, I don't think she's there yet. But my uncle is aware that that's probably where both uncles are. But the one that's his actual dad, is aware of the fact that funeral arrangements they need to talk to him, to my papa, hey, we need to know your final plans in case you don't make it out of this, because it doesn't look good, basically. If he makes it, if he recovers somehow and survives another 2 years, it will be a medical miracle, basically, is what I've been told is what his state is at the moment. Is that if he makes it to Christmas, that will honestly in and of itself be a miracle. My funeral, I won't be having one, most likely. My funeral will be fully for whatever family I leave behind to have, because I don't, I want to be cremated. I want all my organs to be donated in every way possible, and then cremate the rest of me. So they can hold whatever the fuck kind of vigil. I don't care about the rest of it. And I sure as fuck ain't got nothing to give away, so, you know, like, I don't have really much stuff to pass on. I certainly don't have any money to pass on. But, so, and my funerals are for the living, not for the dead, so, you know, but like, they just recently moved my papaw into an old folks home, because he's been having mobility issues and stuff, so they wanted to put him and before Nana died, she wasn't exactly helpful in that department either. She wasn't exactly healthy. But especially after she died, they needed to put him somewhere where someone could keep an eye on him if he did fall. And then he did fall. He also got sick on top of that. And this is only just the bits and pieces that I've picked up. I don't know the whole story. So you can be a debt to your family one final time. Yeah. Maybe. If only. That would be nice. Having some money. That would be really nice. But not all of us are very lucky, so most of us are not lucky in any capacity, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's the plan for Christmas, the week of Christmas. So obviously I won't be streaming because I won't be here. And because originally I was just gonna stay in town and not do anything, because, you know, but I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to live that long, to be honest, Rookie. To be completely honest, I don't know if I want to make it to 100. Because I've seen what 70 looks like on most people, especially late 70s. I don't want any part of that, quite frankly. Granted, I'm only 24, so we got 50 years before we hit that point. Who knows what medicine's going to look like in 50 years? You know what I mean? So, we might have the cure for cancer by then, for all I know. You go for it, Rookie. If that's what you want, go for it. I don't think I want that, personally. Society's already horrible. What do you mean? Huh? Before I beg God to take me away. Honestly, I do that semi-regularly already, so if I die on my way home, oh well, type of person. So, like, I'm not gonna actively try to die, but, like, if I happen to die, I'm not gonna be upset about it. Especially because I'll be dead. That's not who I expected to see on this box. Oh, okay. That was weird. Why do they have Chica? Oh, okay, it's just the cover. Okay. That sounds horrible. I mean, we already have digital currencies. Is that not what just normal banking is? Like non-paper money banking? Don't we already have that? We don't have like a you need a government ID thing, but figure I'd open this mail that I've got sitting here. It's nothing fancy. Try not to dox myself. Though it wouldn't be hard to find me. You know the city I live in and my first and last name, so it wouldn't be hard to find me, but, you know. We love a box inside of a box. It's fun because since I work in an Amazon warehouse, I know what all these stickers mean now. Well, not all the stickers, but some of the stickers. That's funny. I bought candy. Like a lot of it. Like a whole lot of it. Look at all this candy. Look at it. Look at it. It just kept going. I had to keep raising it up higher. Big, chewy nerds. Delicious. Scrumptious. I ran out. I bought some that were on sale after Halloween, and I ran out yesterday, so I ordered a bunch more because these are really good. Open. The hard part's going to be not sitting down and eating a whole box at once. That's going to be the hard part. Because the one I had before came in like little snack packs. They were like the correct size to put in like candy bowls to hand out. I hope this doesn't sound too terrible. Nope, just kind of smells like cardboard. I got a really like strong smell from it when I opened it, but it doesn't smell like the candy. It just smells like cardboard. I forgot that I had my dryer running, and I heard it whacking around when I just stood up to walk across the apartment, and it startled me. Oh, I got, I ordered some posters from AliExpress a while back, and I finally got some of them. I got them in today, or the other day, not today. I ordered a couple of your name posters. They're both really good. Well, I ordered 3. The other one was ass, and so I threw it away. But these are really good. I really like them. I don't know where I'm going to put them yet, but I like them. And they were cheap. No. AliExpress is like Wish.com. It's like that kind of general concept. Wish.com, Temu, it's the same concept. Their whole thing is cheap shit. Yeah, it'd also be nice to go to Lexington just so I could see, because my sister lives in an apartment now, so it'd be nice to see her apartment. My sister's first apartment. How cool is that? And then I also got me a U2s that came in yesterday, but I knew I was going to get the nerds in today, so I was like, I'll just wait to go up there until today, and then it turned out this was actually in my mailbox. Oh, is it? Shipping to here is it just takes a long time because it's coming from China, so that always takes a long time. Doesn't matter who you're buying it from, but if it's coming from China to the US, it takes a minute. And a lot of my stuff has been getting really delayed lately, and then add on to that the holiday stuff that's happening right now. Okay, I'm gonna pop this open and it's gonna be loud and awful, so I'm gonna mute you. Meant to say I was gonna mute me. I'm not muting you. I'm muting me. I hate this country. That was a shared sentiment. Yeah, I ordered Monty. So when I opened the box that it shipped in, and this is the picture that I saw, I got concerned. I was like, oh fuck, did they send me the wrong one? No, they didn't. It just, they have the others on the sides. Well, I mean, I've ordered way more than Monty, but Monty's just the one who got here first. Monty. Mr. Gatorman. Might be my favorite one. I'm upset they don't have "Hey Little Guy" on here. They have a couple of his other phrases from the game, but they don't have "Hey Little Guy," which is the one that you hear over and over and over again as he chases you throughout the Pizzaplex. For those who don't know, this is from the FNAF Security Breach game. That's what this figure is from. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. The one that I've been ordering a bunch of shit for lately. Although the last thing I did was order, oh, they've got Roxy on the inside. Burn. That's cute. That's cute. Yeah, which, like, understandable. You gotta do what you gotta do. Can I list who all I've ordered on YouTube lately? Because it's a few. It's a few. It's a few. And it's certainly a few. So I ordered Monty, who's here today. I also ordered Springtrap, Golden Freddy, a Chica plushie, a Cupcake plushie, the cat from Stray, a Spyro plushie, and a B12 plushie. B12, the little robot from Stray. And then Monty, of course. I swear I feel like I ordered more than that. But no, I think that is all of them. So, there's a reason I'm poor. Needless to say. There's a reason I'm poor. That sweet, sweet plastic smell. Look at him. I love U2s. I really do. They are so much better than pop vinyls, even though they're twice as expensive. But they're so much more detailed, so much more interesting. So I do not mind that they are more expensive, because U2s can already be expensive, and they're not even detailed at all. So I am happy every time that U2s puts out a character that I like, or a person that I like, because you can also get, like, real life people U2s, like Markiplier U2s and Jacksepticeye U2s and shit like that, which I love. I love that. Like, look how detailed he is. Look at him. Focus on him. Look at him. And then, look at the detail on his tail. Like, look at that. U2s could never. They literally could never. He's gorgeous, and I love him. I think he was like $30. And he's sturdy, too. Like, he just stands up on his regular feet. He doesn't have a stand. Because he's got big old feet. I'm happy with my purchase. I knew I would be, because he's probably my favorite one. He's the coolest one, in my opinion. Not to mention Gigamonty exists, so... Put him next to Keto. Is that his name? That's not his name. That's the other one. What is his name? Oh my god. I hate myself. I get a spoiler, I deserve it. Gojo, not Ghetto. Gojo. Apologies. Satoru Gojo. My apologies. Fuck. It's been a minute since I've watched the show, so apologies. But, you know. You expect me to remember shit? No. Lower your expectations. Lower those expectations. All right, that's all I have to say 2 hours later. That is the rundown of what's been going on lately. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. And dear God, I cannot wait for fucking December to be over. Because I am ready to be out of fucking peak season. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. It's too much. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Oh. I'm so tired. I probably should just sign off and go take a nap, but I want to start this new game. So, it's what we're going to do. And if it ends up being super complicated, like Spider-Man was, like, if I'm too tired to grasp the controls, then we'll just end early. But I should probably switch. If I take a break, I won't come back. So no, we won't be doing that. I took a break earlier. We're not taking a break. That was loud. Okay. I think I'm going to split these VODs up as well, so I don't have to put timestamps in.